Hi Team Grade 4, it's your self-proclaimed favorite mathematics teacher, Miss Aaliyah Brewster. Welcome to another edition of Grade 4 Mathematics. Today's topic is statistics and its subtopic is bar graph. So let's dive into it. What is a bar graph? A bar graph can be defined as a chart or graphical representation of data, quantities or numbers using bars or strips. Bar graphs are used to compare and contrast numbers, frequency, and other measures of distinct category of data. But forget all those fancy words. Let's see how bar graphs are created. It's time for us to have a bar graph buzz. To do this, we have to represent the data that we're given below using a bar graph. We're going to begin by counting each of the supplies and putting in the data in a table. Here are our supplies that we have, and we need to organize these supplies into a table so that it's easier for us to draft our bar graph. So looking at all these supplies, I can tell we have pencils, we have sharpener, we have eraser, ruler, and pens. That's about it, right? Good. So how many pencils do we have? Let's organize it in a table. How many pencils do we have? Let's count. We have, okay, they're in groups of twos, right? So we have 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 pencils in total. Good. How many rulers do we have? 1, 2, 3. Very good. 3 rulers. How many pens do we have? 1, 2. Okay, only 2 pens. How many sharpeners do we have there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 sharpeners. And how many erasers? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 erasers. Now that we have our data organized in a beautiful pictograph and it's easier for us to understand, we can now draft our bar graph, okay? To begin, a bar graph has a title. That's the little words or the sentence at the top of the graph, right? It tells the person who is looking at the graph what the data is representing. So in this case, our title is School Supplies Students Use. School Supplies Students Use. That's our title. Now, every bar graph has 2 axes. It has the vertical axe, which has the numbers written on it. In this case, our number starts from 0 and it goes all the way up to 10. So the scale has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that will indicate the number of supplies. The other axis, which is horizontal or running across, is depicting the types of school supplies. In this case, we have pencils, scale, pen, sharpener, and eraser. Now let's get into it. Looking at the school supplies and our table, we realized that we had a total of 8 pencils. So the bar that represents pencil goes right up and it stops at 8. Now the bar that represents ruler goes a little way up and it stops at 3 because there were only 3 rulers in the group. Now we're moving on to pen, which is in the yellow bar. That has to stop at 2 because in the supplies there were only 2 pens. Then the fourth bar, which is the pink bar, represents the sharpener. And from the supply we see there were only 5 sharpeners. While the final bar, which represents erasers, stops at 4 because there were only 4 erasers. So there you have it. Quite simple, our bar graph is constructed. Now, let me tell you a fun fact. Did you know that the bars of a bar graph can be represented vertically as well as horizontally? That's right. We would have constructed a vertical bar graph, but bar graphs can also come in the form of horizontal, where the bars are this way and not this way. Quite interesting. You can research that. Now let's do another activity. We're tasked with observing a bar graph and answering some questions. So here we have it, a beautiful bar graph that is depicting children's favorite toys. So take a second, look at that bar graph. Look to see where every bar stops. look to see what are the toys we're comparing. We have blocks, doll, game, and ball. Okay? Now, after we finish studying the graph, it's time for us to answer the question. How many children like blocks? How many children like blocks? Okay, so we're going to look at the bar where that represents block, which is the yellow bar, and we see that one child likes blocks. Now, how many children like doll? Doll represents the red bar and it stops at 5. Therefore, 5 children like dolls. Now let's look at game. How many children likes game? Well, game is represented by the blue bar and it stops at 4. Therefore, 4 students or 4 children like game. Now let's look at the final bar, which represents ball, and it says there 6 students like ball. And it's that simple, boys and girls. But there are also times when they can give you a bar graph in the exam and give you questions, and you have to answer those questions by looking at the bar graph. Let's work one together. It says to study the bar graph and answer the questions. The title of the bar graph is Kids' Favorite Fruits. Wow, kids' favorite fruits. And the fruits we're comparing are orange, banana, pear, and apple. First question. How many kids like apples? How many kids like apples? Good question. Four kids like apples. Question 2. Which fruit did most kids like? Which fruit did most? The key word is most kids like. Well, most kids like orange because orange is the largest bar or the tallest bar on the bar graph. Question 3. Which fruit did the kids like the least? Which fruit did the kids like the least? So we're looking at the shortest bar graph, which would be banana. Oh my, kids like banana the least. Question 4, how many kids liked bananas? Two kids like bananas because the banana bar stops at numeral 2. Final question, how many kids like either pear or bananas? How many kids like either pear or bananas? Now this question, we have to do some calculation. So they're asking us, how many kids like pear and banana, basically. So we're going to add how many children like banana, how many children like pear. So we know that 2 children said they liked banana, while a total of 3 children said they liked pear. Therefore, 2 plus 3 would give us 5. So 5 kids liked either pear or banana. And it's that simple, boys and girls. I trust that you would have enjoyed today's lesson, and thank you for tuning in. Remember the words of Paul Halmos, the only way to learn mathematics is to do mathematics. That's right. This means that you must continue to practice if you wish to be successful at your upcoming exam. Thank you once again for tuning in, boys and girls, and goodbye.